We're back to the Integriy Racing League presented by Butt Kicker. As a strategy, as I apologize for the technical difficulty we've been having right now, but an interesting battle for the lead right now. Jacob Fife, under that caution, actually stayed out, I believe, on old tires as Andrew Fiash makes quick work of him, and Cody Kutzner is underneath the 77 of Andrew Fiash for the lead right now, trying to capitalize much like he did early in the race, trying to make use of those fresh tires. I intercepted some of the radio communications, and Fiash was talking to Brad Patton. Brad was the fastest car in the long run, and Fiash was still fast, but not quite able to run Brad Patton's pace. And Fiash was talking about how he used up more right front tire than Brad Patton did. Fiash's wear was definitely worse, and just wasn't feeling that the car had enough right front camber. So Brad said that he was taking it easy on the right front. It's definitely paid off, and this run he could go even easier because he doesn't have to come from behind. He is right there on the leader. The 77 looking underneath the 91 to take that lead back as he slides it through 1 and 2, but gets the lead with Brad right on his bumper, and Cody Kutzner in the 91 will have to fade into third position. The last caution was between the number 4 of Chance Manning and the number 94 of Alan Roll. Alan had missed turn 1 and got into the 4, and the 4 was not happy about it and simply paid him back as they were coming to the exit. The 6 truck of Bobby Keith was on pit road as the caution came out, and he stayed ahead of the pace car, was able to stay out. As we have a battle for the lead, Brad Patton gets underneath Andrew Fiash and takes the lead. But all 3 of these trucks on top of each other, as Brad got a little bit loose in 1 and 2. But if Brad's able to clear the 77 and beat the 91, oh, there's contact between the 91 and the 18, but the 18 got it straightened out fast. The 91 was hurt more than anything by that. Certainly did not mean to get into the 18 of Brad Patton and backed off in case the 18 needed room to save it. So some contact for the lead as 81 of Michael Duell has joined this battle. Michael currently being shown in 4th position after starting 13th, so a nice move forward for the 88 truck. As Brad Patton, who started 11th, it took him about 57, 58 laps to get the lead, but he is now in the lead, although being pressured by Cody Kutzner. But he knows, based on the previous long run that we had, that if he's able to hold off Cody, he should be able to pull away. But Cody trying to get that track position right now, working on the 18 of Brad. I think Andrew Fiash might be changing his driving a little bit this run. I think he wants to save the right front. He might be thinking right now, okay, I used up a little more tire than Brad that last run. Now these guys are racing hard for the lead, and that's probably where I went wrong, was racing the 91 so hard. So right now I think he's pretty content being in 3rd as long as he keeps up with the leaders, and he wants to let those top 2 race it out. But right now the 91's pushing hard, and Brad's only trying to push as hard as he has to. And Brad right now with the advantage and keeping the top spot. But you do see Cody drives in extremely deep. As Fiash actually fading just a little bit as he's trying a higher entry into turn number 1. Looks to be intentionally. He didn't go for the low in, diamond up, and then double apex it on that lap. He was actually entering pretty high, and it seemed to work out. He carried a lot of speed through the center and came off of the corner pretty well as he tries the same thing in 3 and 4. But right now Cody's very fast, using curb, very sideways, yawed out, making use of those right side tires. The 91 is looking to get back into the lead as they are all trying to lead the most laps. Right now Brad's led about 5, and I believe Cody might currently have the most laps led in this race. The 88 and 4th falling back a little bit, so it is a 3-way battle for the lead. Michael just not able to keep up with right now. Seems to be about a 1/10 and a half off of the leaders. Is that the 94, I do not believe after that caution came down pit road, he decided to stay out and take a wave around because he lost that lap. Oh, I'm sorry, he did end up making a pit stop. but he had stayed out for a while trying to get the track position when other trucks pitted when he got turned around. So the 4 truck has actually just left this race, and he was who the 94 tangled with to bring out that only caution that we've seen in the race. We're 60 laps into this race. The 94 are actually having a little bit of trouble in traffic right now, almost gets into the 36 of Jacob Fife, but Jacob able to get away unscathed as they're battling pretty closely around 11th and 13th position right now, with a couple of damaged trucks. Certainly Alan Roll has the most damage out of anyone currently running right now. As most of the field is single file, right now Michael's still all by himself in 4th, and then back around 5th and 6th, 5th through 8th really, is the 69 of Bruce Koenig, the 66 of Brian Harvey, the 6 of Bobby Keith, and the 53 of James Hudson. The 6 truck of Bobby Keith, that as I had mentioned, actually restarted up front. He restarted 2nd about 10-15 laps ago. But what happened was the 18 of Brad Patton got too deep entering turn number 1 and got into him, and the 6 truck lost all the track position that he got by pitting as the caution came out and not having to come in when the leaders did. So certainly Bobby Keith trying to come from behind now, as we saw him earlier in the race, was certainly good enough to drive up to the leaders and then lost it at the tail end of that run. So Bobby right now in 7th, certainly capable of driving up to 4th right now. Right now stuck in a little bit of traffic behind Harvey and Koenig. As the battle for the lead heats up a little bit, Brad Patton trying to not push his truck any more than he has to, and Andrew Fiash has closed in on Cody Kutzner for 2nd place. Cody looks pretty fast, looks pretty sideways, and sideways can be fast when the yaw is just the right amount. You don't want to yaw too much because then you are losing speed, scrubbing it right out of the tires. But Cody right now still in 2nd, as Fiash looks to get the position on him. Seems to be running a little bit of a cleaner line as of right now. Fiash, the DWC driver, currently somewhere around 20th in points if I'm not mistaken. Certainly one of the better drivers in this service, to say the least. And Cody Kutzner, very competitive himself, is Jacob Fife, who stayed out on the last caution, is coming down pit road right now. The 36 truck. I thought 86 for a moment there, but the 36 is coming down pit road and will lose a lap here. The strategy to stay out for track position and see how that worked out. Maybe get another quick caution. Did not work out for Jacob, as Jacob is going to lose a number of spots here as the only man in front of him in points is actually pulling the gap as he's running 4th, and Jacob losing spots will come out of pit road somewhere around 13th. As the closest battle on the track is between Andrew Fiash and Cody Kutzner, and Fiash was able to clear Kutzner as the 36 of Jacob Fife came down pit road. So Fiash back into 2nd, going to try to chase down the 18 of Brad Patton, but I tell you, we're just about at halfway, and Fiash knows that there's no need to run his truck into the ground right now, and he will be pretty patient coming up through here. But looking at the lap times right now, Brad might be saving his stuff a little bit. Andrew Fiash, fastest truck on the track last time by a good 10th or 2. And then Michael Duell matched what Andrew Fiash ran, both in the 31.0s. And then the other 2 in the top 4 of Cody and Brad were in the 31.2s. So we actually see Fiash right now chasing down the 18 of Brad Patton. And Brad knows to make the chase, he's probably going to have to get another win in these final 3 races, if not another 2 wins. So he wants to beat Cody Kutzner in every race that we have left until we get to the 9-race 4th segment chase of this series. As most of the field is indeed spread out, the best battle is up front. Took a quick look around. All these drivers look to be fully in control. No close battles right now, except for the leaders. That is a pretty close battle. And these tires begin to wear. It'll be interesting to see if anyone learns something on that first run. That's the interesting thing about fixed setup racing is, it doesn't always fit your driving style, and a lot of times you have to change that. As we see the 88 of Michael Duell working on the 91 of Cody Kutzner, looks underneath him entering turn number 3, but Cody might be entering deeper than anybody else in this field, and he's able to clear Michael entering turn 3 and closes the door in the center without having to block at all, just outbrakes him. But Michael's right there, and Michael looks to be running very good lap times right now. So if he's able to pass the 91, he will look to close in on the leaders. As the 77 of Fiash gets underneath Brad Patton, they're side by side for the lead in 3 and 4, but Brad lets him go and will tuck back in line. Definitely looking to take it a little bit easy right now with about 80 laps to go at the moment. As Michael Duell able to complete the pass on Cody Kutzner entering turn number 1. So Michael Duell up to third. He has gained a full 10 positions in this race. Cody just giving him the lane when he looked low, deciding, you know what, I'll tuck in behind him and I'll try to chase down the leaders with him. But Michael right now does look to be the fastest truck on the track, as Brad running behind Fiash in second. Fiash assumes the lead again, trying to get to the most laps led, trying to win this race pretty simply. So have about 77 laps to go as of right now, with a nice battle for the lead. You could see these drivers moving around a lot in the center of the corner. The truck kind of pivots out, gets on the right rear tire, they bring it back. You don't want to yaw these things out too much, because if you get that right rear tire hot, it becomes a handful for at least 2-3 laps, and it might just become a handful for the rest of the run. So you see these guys running on a very thin line between being aggressive enough to be fast enough to chase down the leader, and also being too aggressive and ruining the right rear tire itself. But I did hear drivers complaining maybe the right front tire just doesn't have enough camber, and the tire wear pattern's looking kind of interesting on the right front. But the tires are not wearing too much where they're going to have tire problems. It's just the ideal situation that they're looking for in a car's balance. Is Brad Patton actually saying that he's having a lot of problems with the right rear tire right now. He's very loose. Radio communications right now going on between Andrew Fiash and Brad just is not feeling the right rear tire right now. He might have burned it up just starting up front. Maybe he took it a little too easy, didn't use enough right front. That puts the bulk of the weight on the right rear, and he's definitely loose right now trying to bring it back. But usually if you back off for a couple laps, you can get the car to recover and get the balance that you had before. Usually one slip will hurt you for a number of laps in a row. Cody Kutzner, as we mentioned, he was looking very good, but it appears to be a repeat of the first run. Right now, the 91 truck just not keeping up as we put more and more laps on these tires. Right now, he's running fourth, which is basically one spot further back than he was in the first run, as Michael Duell was able to get by him. And Michael right now about a second behind the leader. And Michael is actually chasing these leaders down by about half a tenth a lap. So the 88 truck has come into the picture after not racing with these guys for the first half of the race, as we are past halfway. So this is the time that you want to rise to the top, and you want to be Mr. Where Did He Come From, as NASCAR and Fox so aptly nicknamed Kevin Harvick. So Michael trying to come from behind and get a win here. Michael actually has 4 wins on the year, so he knows how to get it done. 4 wins in the 24 races that we have had. As that last time by, Michael lost a little bit of time on the leaders. Didn't see where he lost that time, but leaders able to pull about a tenth and a half on him. As Brad certainly looks to be on the right rear. just doesn't have the truck balanced quite how he likes it. With these trucks, it's very easy to get on the right rear, and it's a little bit deceiving when you drive one of these because you can enter deep and you could be heavy on the gas, but as the tires wear, you can still enter the corner fairly deep. You have to watch the throttle, and with how on the throttle these trucks are, having to pedal it a lot more, even to the extent that some of these cup cars need with 200 more horsepower, it's a little deceiving. So you start using a little bit too much throttle, you start using up the rear tires, and it does not work out. But Brad Patton seems to have gotten it under control as he's actually closing in on the 77 and Andrew Fayash for the lead as we speak. Most battles on the racetrack actually have pretty decent gaps between them. A lot of cars running closely, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Bruce Koenig in the 69 truck, Bobby Keith in the 6th, and James Hudson in the 53, running nose to tail for the most part, as actually the 69 gets a good run off of turn 2 and pulls away from them for now. But Bobby Keith trying to come back. When he got dumped on turn 1 of that restart, it certainly upsets your rear tires, as I was talking about. So it's kind of hard to come back. You don't want to slide these things much at all, especially at a track where you need that forward drive off. As we're about to head to break, get a word from our sponsors. Right now, the top 5 remains the same that it's been for a couple laps, which is Fayash in the lead, Brad Patton in 2nd, Michael Duell in 3rd, Cody Kutzner in 4th, and Bruce Koenig in position number 5.
Join 5,000 plus other listeners where you can hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETVLIVE, sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com. If you're a serious online racing enthusiast, you need Derek Spear Design, maker of high-quality, custom-built, and 50-caliber strong simulation racing products like button boxes, shifter pedals, component parts, and more. The advantage a championship sim racing driver needs. Rated 10 out of 10 by Inside Sim Racing TV. Check out his line of top-shelf sim racing products reasonably priced at DerekSpearDesigns.com and buckle in for a no-nonsense ride. DerekSpearDesigns.com today, cowboy.
So we're back live to the Milwaukee Mile in the Integrity Racing Series presented by Butt Kicker. And while we were away, most of the order remained the same, but Cody Kutzner got extremely loose at one point and simply had to let a bunch of cars go. So his right rear tire, not enjoying life, as you would say, he is sliding a lot and looking extremely loose right now. Currently running the 7th position, Cody, who was running, I believe, in 4th. So he lost 3 spots in the ordeal, and even some lap traffic was able to get by him. Jacob Fife actually was the only lap car, but he's got newer tires, so that makes sense. But Cody Kutzner right now actually really struggling and going backwards. But the battle for the lead remains basically the same. Fayash still in the lead, holding off Brad Patton. But Brad is right there seems to have gotten his right rear cleaned up a little bit, where he doesn't look quite as sideways as he did before. And these drivers are actually changing their lines a lot. They're not running up the track as we saw earlier, so maybe it's just something they figured out where the Big Diamond might not be so fast in 1 and 2 at this stage of the run, as Brad is right on the 77 of Fiash, looking to make something happen and get back to the lead. And right in front of these leaders are a few trucks that will go a lap down and some that will go another lap down, and they can become a factor as these leaders try to navigate through the lap traffic. So Brad Pat gets very loose out of turn number 2. That'll lose him about 1/10 of a second, which is extremely valuable. But Brad able to recover. He'll just have to watch it for a couple laps to make sure that he doesn't get any more sideways. But as Brad on the radio letting his guys know that he is out of control drifting right now, but that's this track. It's a fine line. It's a balance. It's a tightrope that you have to walk. As the 77 gets under the 80, Eugene Wilkinson right now going a second lap down, currently in 13th, as he lets leaders go and will tuck back in line behind the 18 of Brad Patton. And next up in front of Fiash is the 63 of Jim Fife, who is the last car on the lead lap. Brad Patton able to get by, both leaders able to get by that 80 truck without any problem, with a nice Haviland paint scheme, by the way, which clearly in tribute to Davey Allison, which it's hard to believe that it's been 20 years since Davey Allison has been with us, but a nice tribute paint scheme to him on that 80 truck. As the 77 coming up on the 63 of Jim Fife tells him to go low and will stay out of the way. Brad Patton follows Fiash, and next up in front of Fiash is the 44 of James Hickson. Hickson right now 3 laps down in 15th, will go a 4th lap down shortly. But certainly all the fenders look pretty clean on that 44 for the most part. Hasn't gotten involved in any heavy problems, a little bit of right front damage actually, but we've seen Hickson, and he will definitely get out of the way of these leaders as they come up on him. Right now, Michael Duell is coming through the lap traffic himself in 3rd, and Michael able to run very close to what these leaders are running, but just not able to close that gap the last amount of space that he needs to. So Michael might need another caution or a great green flag pit stop to have a shot at this win, unless he's able to really pick up at the end of this run. But Michael there in 3rd, and they have gapped the competition incredibly as Cody Kutzner continues to fall back a little bit. Currently in 7th, trying to make his way back by the 26 of Daniel Holloway, the 91 is. But otherwise, about 10 seconds behind the leader. As actually Bruce Koenig, the 69, has just come down pit road, certainly short pitting a little bit. You get those new tires. If a caution does not come out, it is a great benefit, and by the time the leaders do pit, you have made up multiple seconds. So it's a bit of a gamble, but it's a good gamble to make in this race, because it doesn't appear that a caution will come out. In fact, the only caution that we had was pretty blatant, just someone getting mad at someone else after a mistake. James Hudson is one of the drivers who made a green flag pit stop and is passing the 18 of Brad Patton right now. James Hudson about to unlap himself around the 77 of Fiash. Whenever he gets to Fiash, I'm sure Andrew will get out of his way and let him by. Bobby Keith, also one of the drivers who made a pit stop. Bobby Keith short pitted, trying to make up some of that ground that he lost in the beginning of the run when he got punted from behind and got sideways. Fell back to about 6th or 7th. Bobby currently shown in 9th and will be one of the people to unlap himself very shortly, as I think Fiash and Brad Patton are sort of playing a game of chicken. Whenever the first one of the two comes down, the other will follow shortly, but they don't want to lose, which could put them in a bad situation, because they could lose a lot of time to someone like Michael Duell, if the 88 comes to pit road soon, which would be a good gamble for him to make up that second and a half that he's behind the leaders, they just don't want to lose so much time that they come out of pit road with a lot of ground to make up. So if you're the 88 truck of Michael, something that you might want to consider is pitting very shortly, gambling that a caution won't come out or will come out immediately, and seeing what you can do to get track position on the two guys who have led the race. But Michael right now about a tenth and a half to 2/10 slower than the 77 of Fiash and the 18 of Brad Patton. As caution does come out, to my surprise, the 91 of Kutzner is around coming out of turn 4. 91, as we saw, was struggling, and I didn't expect a caution at all, which was not the bet to take, which is why I am not a professional gambler by any means. The 91 in the middle of 3 and 4 simply was trying to get a good run off of 4, got a little bit loose, was using the curbing, and his left front caught the grass, and that takes all the grip away. Grass and slick tires generally do not mix, so a self-spin for the 91 truck. We'll have to see if he was able to stay on the lead lap. And entering that wreck, Bruce Koenig actually spun around, I believe, to miss it. Yeah, actually the 69 Bruce Koenig did get damage out of it. He clipped the 91 as the 91 was pointed up against the wall, messed up his right side, and nosed it into the inside barrier. So a self-spin that led to a damaged 69 truck and a lightly damaged 91 truck as the leaders will come down pit road to make their stop. Be interesting to see if any strategy comes into play, but I do believe leaders will go for 4 tires. There are only 9 trucks on the lead lap, and you have enough time to make it up. There will be about 50 laps to go when they go green. Brad Patton takes 4 tires and comes out in front of Fiash. Fiash with, I believe, a slow pit stop. He might have overshot his pits a little bit. A 7-second pit stop, I believe, for Brad Patton. What actually happened, these guys are having some black flag issues at the moment. The 18 accidentally took 2 tires. That was the ordeal right there. He took left sides. Usually when you see the left side jack drop, you just assume it was a 4-tire stop, but likely what happened was he accidentally unchecked the right sides when he was thinking about unchecking the left side and just going 4 right sides, which I've seen many people make that mistake before. Not sure if that's what happened here, but certainly a possibility. The 18 will be coming in once again as he has a black flag. When he got those 2 tires, the stop sign was up at the exit of pit road and he flew by it, so the game gave him a black flag and he gets his 4 tires and will have to start from the end of the longest line. So Brad Patton, who was looking like he might be the guy to win this race, is going to have to come back from about 11th or 12th position to make a run at this. Now we will have a couple of wave arounds on this at the end of this caution. Brad Patton's certainly not happy. Just a couple of mistakes and a couple of little interesting nuances with iRacing that you have to look out for, and he will be fighting his way back with about 48 to go, coming from 11th. But as we see a couple of wave rounds going around the pace car, I thought Bobby Keith would be one to stay out, because he did pit shortly before that caution came, and it looked like he was going to stay out, but he decided, you know what, get me some tires. I do not want to repeat what happened in turn 1 on the last restart. And Bobby Keith does come down pit road and will be starting somewhere around 11th. So the front row is Andrew Fiash for this restart, alongside the 88 of Michael Duell, who is, so you have the wild card, the leader of the wild card, and the leader of the overall point standings. And as I had mentioned, Michael looks pretty quick. Maybe not as quick as the leaders, but when you're there, sometimes you get that little bit of extra. It'll be interesting to see if Duell is able to keep up. Brian Harvey is currently in 3rd. I think it's the highest he has run all race. and the 26 of Daniel Holloway will be starting in 4th as Fayash takes the restart and gets a solid lead entering turn number 1. No pressure from behind from the 77 of Andrew Fayash. As a 91 of Cody Kutzner, some right side damage following that wreck that he just brought out the caution for, and he is up to 4th right now. Brad Patton actually restarted. Actually, Brad Patton, following a couple of people's late pit stops, was able to restart in 8th, and so he's moved up to 7th already, and he will be fighting aggressively through this field. Actually, if we look at the 18 truck, he's pulling right up on the 26 of Daniel Holloway as we speak, and that might be the most exciting spot to watch for this race right now. Fayash with about a half second already on Brian Harvey. So a close battle for second right now. Harvey was able to get second from Michael Duell, and Cody Kutzner is right behind the 88 of Duell in his 91 truck. As Duell comes back on Brian Harvey, looking to get second place back and try to chase down the leader, as the 91 will be looking to follow Michael past the 66 Mobile One Chevrolet of Brian Harvey. Brad Patton looking low for I believe 6th position on the 26 of Daniel Holloway. Brad Patton able to pass 2 trucks so far, I believe, since the restart, as he has his nose in front of the 26 and will complete the pass here in turns 1 and 2. So as the laps narrow down, we've had 2 cautions. Brad certainly looks to be one of the contenders having to fight back following some mishaps on pit road. And Fayash right now is enjoying his view in the mirror because he knows his toughest competition right now is stuck in traffic. And when you're the leader and you have that open track, you can capitalize. So Fayash right now trying to not overdrive his truck, just trying to be smooth and steady and bring it home. So right now the closest battle is from second on back to about 5th, as Brad currently in 5th position, pulling right up on the 66 of Harvey. Fayash not quite getting away. Brad is running aggressively and he's running fast, and Fayash is not pulling away, although he might be trying to just save his tires. A lot of times you'll see these leaders only go as hard as they have to, which is the strategy that you want to have if you want to have really good rear tires. 18 gets into the back of 66 of Brian Harvey, but Harvey does not even get loose. It was a very light nudge exiting turn number 2, and if anything, it affected Brad Patton's truck just a little bit where he got loose, but Harvey was able to keep it straight. But right now we see Kutzner, after that self-spin, probably got what he needed, which is a shorter run. And Kutzner is yawing it out quite a bit. But right now holding strong in 3rd, as Brad Patton gets very loose out of turn number 2, as he will look below the 66 of Harvey once again, entering turn number 3. I tell you what, Brian Harvey is not giving up. That is a race, but Brad Patton gets a great run off of turn 4, pulls up in front of Harvey, and Brad Patton is back up to 4th. So what could have been a terrible mistake, I tell you what, with 36 laps to go right now, he has a shot at this win. Brad is only about a second and a half behind the leader, Andrew Fayash, but I tell you, as you get closer to the front, they become harder and harder to pass. So Brad definitely has his work cut out for him here. Right now, just looking at these lap times, that last time by, Andrew Fayash went a 30.95. The second place car, Michael Duell, 31.04. Cody Kutzner in 02. And Brad Patton, fastest truck on the track at a 30.72. Got 2 tenths, a little more than 2 tenths in fact, on Andrew Fayash just in that last lap. And you know he's frustrated. You know he was disappointed about what happened during that round of pit stops. And he's trying not to drive too angry, just trying to drive with motivation. And right now, this could be one of those great finishes if we stay green, because Brad is coming. And the 88 right now holding strong in second, just not strong enough to battle with Fayash, the 91 will be looking for a way around him. The 91 just pushing so hard on entry to turn 3. I don't think anyone in this field enters turn 3 better than Cody right now. But Cody just not quite able to keep it up on the long run for the most part. Bobby Keith was actually not able to get the wave around last time by, so Bobby Keith is still a lap down and not a factor in this race. But Brian Harvey losing leaders just a little bit, but running nice times, just far back enough that if something were to happen, he would be able to likely miss it. Brad Patton actually just completed the pass on the 91 of Cody Kutzner, so move Brad Patton back up to third. He started in the back, he went to the front, then he went to the back again, and now he's coming back to the front. The 91 knowing the 18 is fast and not pushing the issue. So now Brad, I mentioned a second ago, he was about a second and a half behind the leader. That has closed to just over 1 second, about 11 tenths. And if you're a tenth faster than the leader, that is 11 laps. And I tell you, we have 34 laps to go this time by. So Brad has more than enough time. But when you're in that position, you just have to tell yourself, okay, I got the time. Don't overdrive, don't overdrive. It's very easy to overdrive, especially when you have someone in your marks. And so Brad trying to keep the tires on it, doing a pretty good job of that right now, doing a very good job of that, as he's pulling up on the 88 of Michael Duell, the points leader, having a great run tonight, as the 18 closing in on him for that second position. I tell you, as you watch those trucks go through 1 and 2, you can see it looks pretty difficult, and that's because it is. The symmetry is simply not there for 1 and 2. You enter really low, and then the track kind of comes out at you, almost like the pit road exit at North Wilkesboro in a way. And so the trucks enter very low, and then they swing very wide, and it's basically a double apex corner, almost like a carousel type of corner that you would see on a road course. So this track would be good for people who are good at the carousel at Road America or Watkins Glen, I would imagine. But Brad Patton getting in there very well right now, able to close in on the back bumper of the 88. But as we wind down with 32 to go as we speak, there will be not a whole lot of give and take. Certainly Michael wants to keep that position. And right now, actually Michael last lap was faster than the leader by about a tenth. But Brad right there, it just goes to show you, if the 88's faster than the leader, then the 18 definitely is, because Brad beat the 88 last lap by about half a tenth, and both are closing very quickly on Fiash, who probably was hoping for a little more trouble for the 18 in traffic. Not personally, just hoping to get away. And the 18 is trying to get a good run out of 4, but he is sideways out of turn 4. The number 18 will lose a good tenth and a half right there. That's not what he wanted to see. That's something you do not want to do with 30 laps to go. But simply there's more than enough time for him to recover from that. It was a beautiful save for the 18 of Brad Patton. Completely sideways out of turn 4, just got too low. I believe he just got the curbing. And when you get real close on that curbing, if you catch any of that grass, actually he didn't catch any of that grass. He got pretty lucky there, but just was yawed out way too much. But a really nice save for the 18 of Brad Patton. So that lets Andrew Fiash breathe a little bit easier, but I tell you what, the 88 is closing in little by little. Last lap, Fiash won a 31.208. Michael Duell was about half a tenth faster, and Brad Patton quickly recovered from that slide because he was 100th faster than the 88 truck. So Brad unfazed by his big slide. I tell you what, he was half a tenth faster than the leader with getting loose off of 4 on the previous lap, which kills your momentum to the line, which tells you that he is quite all right now. And mimicking the previous lap on that lap is Brad Patton, as he is about a tenth faster than the truck in front of him and a little bit faster than the leader, still with about 28 to go for the 18. And that is, in fact, the fastest car on the track, and the only battle on the track is shaping up around second. But with about 27 laps to go, I believe we will do our final commercial and then bring you all the way to the checkered flag and the post race. So the top 5 as of right now is Fayash Duel, Patton Kutzner, and Brian Harvey. And we will go to commercial break real quick, and we'll join you here in a couple of laps.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Join 5,000 plus other listeners where you can hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETVLIVE, sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
Welcome back to the Integrity Racing Series live from Milwaukee, presented by Butt Kicker, and no change in the top 5 whatsoever. But Andrew Fayash still in the lead. The 88 of Michael Duell is getting pressured very hard by the 18 of Brad Patton. Brad just not able to find a way around him yet. On these final 20 laps, they are racing as hard as they can, and they don't want to give anything. And I tell you, when you start running with people who are close to your speed, it is really difficult to get that run, get underneath who you are racing. So right now, Fayash in a pretty good spot, unless the 88 makes a mistake. The 18 is drove it way deep into turn 3. He knows he with only some 20 laps to go, he has to get it done very quickly to have a shot at the 77, because just getting there and then racing are two different things. Just getting there and getting by him are two different things. As the 18 very aggressively trying to get underneath the 88 as anyone would. The 18 just on the right rear tire, looking like a sprint car driver for some of these laps. He knows he does not want to give this race up after the pit road mishap, and he is there. Both the top 3 all within 0.6 of a second. Fayash just simply not able to extend that lead, but it might be by design. He might be saying, come on, come and get me, use up your tires and I'll be all right if you come and get me. We'll have a nice battle. But the 88 still holding strong in the second position after qualifying way back, and holding up the 18. The 18 gets loose and hits the wall out of turn number 2. That might be it for the 18, unless he's able to rally back. He has barely enough time if he nails his laps, but it doesn't look like he hurt his truck very badly at all. But he just came out of turn 2 trying everything he could, got loose, got into the outside wall. It doesn't appear that the damage is too bad for Brad Patton, but certainly that doesn't help his cause. With only 18 laps to go, he is running out of time. Fayash still in the lead. Michael Duell in second, chasing him down. A little bit of radio chatter going on between the drivers and their spotters, relaying some messages. Actually, Michael Duell in the 88. My pause there, I was listening to the driver chatter. Michael wants to lead a lap for a bonus point, which is sort of unusual. It's 16, 17 laps to go. Usually the leader will not give up anything. Andrew Fiash clearly needs every tenth of a second he can get with Brad Patton chasing him down. It's kind of an unusual request, probably tongue-in-cheek. And Fiash is unwilling to yield the lead, as anybody would be. Sort of an unusual request, coming down to these final laps. But Brad is chasing him down, which is showing 88 why he will not be able to lead a lap, because the 77 cannot give up anything. Brad Patton coming back once again just seems to be the story of the race. Brad's very fast, but he just keeps having to come back from lost ground as he's coming back to the 88 right now. But he's very loose, and he swings it all the way down to the inside wall on the front stretch, which is a long ways in Milwaukee. The track's pretty close to 80 feet wide, and Brad Patton just overdriving a little bit, trying to make it happen very, very sideways. Tony Stewart will be proud of how sideways he is right now, but certainly that's not the way to make up lost ground. Brad about a second behind the leaders as we speak. But Michael Duell is not letting Andrew Fiash get away. This time by will be 14 to go. We have a caution out on the racetrack. It's out of turn number 2. The 26 is around of Daniel Holloway. So with only 9 on the lead lap, do we see these drivers pit? I think we do. Do we see strategy? The caution was for the 26. Looks to be a self-spin. The 26 was simply too high on the track in the middle of 1 and 2 and lost control of his vehicle. Kind of a lazy spin to the outside wall, and his truck is not terminally damaged, but some rear end damage on the 26. So a small accident, which will give us a restart with about 9 or 10 laps to go. It'll be very interesting to see what strategies these guys utilize. Andrew Fiash commits to pit road. The 18 will follow him, but the 88, our points leader, Michael Duell, stays out. So it'll be interesting to see how this works out. Actually, I believe we have a commitment violation for the 18. The 18 turned into pit road, 2 tires, by the way, for the 77, but coming into pit road, the 18 missed the commitment cone, and we'll have to start from the tail end. I do believe. I'm going to go back and check the replay and make sure that is what happened. And he was too far to the right. When those yellow lines are on the track, you got to be to the left of that yellow line where it begins, and Brad was not. He cut across those yellow lines and barely got onto pit road, and will have to come from the rear again. With only 9 on the lead lap, he will be coming from about 9th or 8th, depending on who pits on the last lap. But that's another problem for the 18 of Brad Patton. So just a brutal mistake to make right now at this stage in the game, and he certainly is not happy. But as far as the strategy, Michael Duell on old tires, Andrew Fiash is on 2 tires, and Andrew, when these lap cars come down pit road or get moved out of the way, will be starting second. Gonna go back and look. I think everyone else took 4 tires. James Hudson currently listed as 3rd. Seems like pit road mishap seems to be the stories of the race. Actually, James Hudson was another driver who took 2 tires. Just right sides for these drivers, knowing that the race is almost over. Jacob Fife in 7th took 4. Brian Harvey took 4. And another driver up there, Daniel Holloway, the reason for the caution, I'm sure, took 4, which he did. As this time by, I do believe we'll see the lights go out on the pace car, with Michael Duell in the lead with pit strategy, or lack of pit strategy, staying out. And I'll have to see if his truck is able to hold off the 77 of Fiash. You know, a lot of times when you get 2 tires, it'll loosen you up, so you have to make sure you don't put gas in your car. It'll affect the handling. And we'll have to see if Fiash has enough handling in his car to be able to come back, because we saw Duell was very smooth, very steady, and he was legitimate competition for that win. They will be restarting with 11 laps to go, and that's more than enough time if you have tires to make something happen at this track, which takes about 30 seconds to get around. So basically 5.5 minutes left in this race to the checkered flag. As they come through turns 3 and 4, we have Duel followed by Fiash, Hudson, then Chris Freeman running the highest he has all race in 4th, and Kutzner, Harvey, Fife, and Holloway rounding out the top 8. As the restart, they are under green. Michael Duel gets a great restart. He jumps in as quickly as he could. As soon as he got to that restart box, he went for it. Fiash dives underneath him for turn number 1 for the lead over the curbs. And that's 2 tires, folks. 2 tires versus no tires. Clearly, 2 tires won the battle. I thought it would happen quickly, but not that quickly. And Fiash jumps out to a quick lead. Cody Kutzner looking under the 88. And James Hudson up to 2nd. Highest he has run all race. Does James Hudson have anything for the 77? We'll have to find out in these closing laps as we come around. We are coming to 10 laps to go. Quite the battles in the middle of the pack right now. Brad Patton almost making contact with the 6 truck. They are just all over the track here in the battle from about 4th back to 10th. Contact out of turn number 2. The 88 saves it, but now we have a crash down the backstretch. The 26 is around, the 17 is around, the 6 is around, and that was almost really bad for the 88. And I think you might see, depending on how many laps to go we have, you might see the 88 come down pit road and get tires because he was fading back in a hurry. So Fiash right now in a great spot. But what happened in that caution was turn number 2. The original contact started with the 66 and the 88. The 88 was trying to get back in line, but he was on old tires, got turned. People are trying to avoid the trucks as they slow down. And the 17 of Chris Freeman, who I just mentioned was running the highest he has all day, just came down to avoid the 66, and it turned to the 26 and the 6. So Daniel Holloway and Bobby Keith both involved, both with damage. I think Bobby Keith might have got the worst of it. I'll have to check to see if he contacted that inside wall like it looks like, and yes, he did. So Bobby Keith, very damaged, and a couple of cars in the back making slight contact entering the wreck. So that certainly changes how this race looks with just a few laps to go. As we do see Michael Duel come to pit road, as I predicted, he will get tires and try to make the most of it in this final very short run. Should be 5 laps or less that they will have. Daniel Holloway is also coming down pit road. He's yawed out. He has rear end damage, and he will fix all that he can leading up to this final restart. There will be one restart. No green-white checkers. This will be the green-white checker, so to speak. It just might be a green-white checker. But 4 tires for everyone on pit road. Michael Duel's strategy certainly did not work out, but he's got a big points lead. He's locked into the chase, and you can gamble. You can gamble to get more wins in scenarios such as his. As the cars that stayed out are the 77 of Fiash, the 91 of Cody Kutzner, followed by James Hudson and Jacob Fife, currently being shown in 4th. I believe a lucky dog from earlier in the race when he was off sequence on pit strategy. Brian Harvey also stayed out, and Brad Patton as well will be restarting in 6th with 4 fresh tires from the last caution. Jim Fife is the lucky dog. That 63 truck will be the last car on the lead lap when we take the green for the final time. As trucks a lap down or more currently on pit road, Daniel Holloway on the lead lap, but fixing every piece of damage that he can get taken care of before this final restart. He wants to make sure that truck is as drivable as it can be, so that he can capitalize and get as many positions as he can. Eugene Wilkinson also sustaining a little bit of damage on that yellow, and as he came into the wreck a little bit late, made contact with the 44, and he's on pit road fixing what he can. And they'll have to get going here very quickly because I believe the lights will be out on the pace car this time by, if I'm not mistaken. As we'll have to see if the trucks all double up for the restart. And the lights are out on the pace car, so we will be going green with exactly 5 laps to go. So what that means is the next flag finishes the race. If they wreck quickly, the race is over. The field will be frozen. If they get to the white flag, the yellow does not come out, and it allows them to race to the checkered regardless of what happens. This game does not have a green-white checker, so that is the green-white checker rule to give them that green flag finish. So if they get to the white, it's on from there. But we have 4 laps until we get to that white, as they will restart with 5 laps to go. With Cody Kutzner on the outside of Fayash, Kutzner showed that he's had the short run speed and he can drive into 3 deeper than anyone else. So it'll be interesting to see if he can stay alongside Fayash or get that big run if he can't and contend for this win. As they come out of turn 4, Kutzner running Fayash tight. Fayash looking to catch him off guard on this restart. Fayash is waiting on it, and he goes. Gets a great restart. That 77 jumps out to lead. The 53 is underneath the 91 for second position. And 53 running the 91 high. Will the 36 look low on the 53? No, not yet. No 3 wide, but the number 91, not the restart he was looking for, stuck high. The 36 of Jacob Fife looking underneath of the 53. Running third right now, the highest he's been. Gets into the back of the 53 a little bit, but no looseness whatsoever as a result. Fayash is off at the races with a big lead. That restart could not have gone any better than Andrew Fayash, but he misses turn number 1. Way up the track, loses a lot of time with just 4 laps to go. You don't want to make a mistake like that at this point in the game, as James Hudson is running in second. The best that he has looked all race, and Jacob Fife as well. So this race has taken such a turn in the closing laps. And I believe James Hudson is on 2 tires like Fayash, but Jacob Fife took 4. So it'll be interesting to see just what Jacob could do. Jacob looks underneath the 53 for second place, entering turn number 1. Fife slides up just a little bit, brings it back down on exit. We'll get that good run off, and he clears the 53 out of turn number 2. So Fife up to second position. Best he has looked all race, but there's only 2 laps to go as they come back around to the start-finish line. Cody Kutzner simply not able to capitalize this restart. Kutzner fell all the way back to 7th place. Brad Patton is mired back in 4th right now. Well, I guess he's not so much mired back, but caution is out. The race is over. The 26 of Daniel Holloway is around on the front stretch, I believe, is the cause for the caution. I believe Daniel Holloway might have had a problem with his game. It appears that his game might have froze because the car simply just stops turning and ends up in the inside pit wall and comes to a stop. So I do believe something happened to Daniel Holloway's equipment, because that was very out of the ordinary. But regardless, the 77 of Andrew Fayash will win this race if he's able to complete this lap, which it looks like he will, knock on wood, if you are a part of the 77 crew. But Fayash, this will be his 7th win in, I believe, 12 races, which is an incredible stat. Brad Patton this lead, very competitive. Matt Busa, another DWC driver. And there's some good competition here. To win 7 out of 12 is pretty incredible for Andrew Fayash. And that will end the race as they work their way through turns 3 and 4. Fayash in the lead. Jacob Fife with 4 tires rallying to get second place. James Hudson in 3rd. Brad Patton in 4th, and Michael Duell with the 4 tires in that last pit stop is going to get a top 5 out of this, but lose a couple of points to the second place in man, Jacob Fife, who gains spots right at the end. And Fayash comes across the line to win this race. Fayash, who I'm sure led the most laps, gets the win. Smooth and solid all race, getting congratulatory bumps from the 53 of Hudson, the 18. Here comes the 88, and Fayash will go to victory lane here at the Milwaukee Mile. Rounding out the top 10 behind the top 5 that I just mentioned is Brian Harvey, Cody Kutzner, who was very fast all race, just a couple of mishaps, a self-spin. Bobby Keith in 8th, Chris Freeman in 9th, who restarted 4th on the final restart, just could not keep it there. And Jim Fife, the most recent lucky dog, comes home in 10th as the last car on the lead lap. Other cars who finished: Daniel Holloway in 11th, Alan Roll in 12th, James Hickson in 13th, Eugene Wilkinson in 14th, Bruce Koenig is the first car out of the race in 15th, followed by Chance Manning, Anthony Gankello, and Nick Staller, who only ran about 6 laps, as Fayash celebrating on the front stretch in reverse, that car twitching around in its reverse gear. Fayash with the win today, his 7th of the season, and that leads this league. as momentarily we'll catch up with, I believe, the top 3 finishers of this race. Should be an interesting discussion. Fiash up there all race, Jacob Fife making the most at the end, James Hudson making the most at the end. As Fiash continues to run a lap backwards around the entire Milwaukee mile, which is a skill set in itself. This race ran for an hour and a half with, I believe, 3 cautions. A nice, clean race. Fiash celebrating right now in almost Kurt Busch fashion from a couple of years ago when he drove for Penske. As he makes his way around 3 and 4 right now in reverse. As I do believe momentarily, we will catch up with the race winner and the second place finisher, Andrew Fiash with the win, and Jacob Fife in second place. Waiting for them to... Actually, right now I've caught up with the second place finisher of Jacob Fife. And Jacob, it looks like at times the race was a bit of a struggle, but you really came on at the end. I believe you took 4 tires towards the end of that race and really capitalized, gained points on the points leader. So how would you rate your race overall, Jacob?
I think you summed it up pretty well there, Harrison. The whole night was a struggle. I had to do some really odd things to try to get, just to try to get in position. I got really lucky, to be perfectly honest. I didn't have the car to barely hang on to the top 10, much less finish second. So, needless to say, yeah, I got real lucky tonight. I had a couple more laps, I might have had a chance at Andrew, but it just didn't work out that way. I'm going to take my second place and run, but overall, tonight was a struggle.
Yeah, were you trying to short pit in certain scenarios and try to gain track position in the middle way the race, got caught off sequence a few times? Is that what happened?
The main goal was to lead a lap. I wanted the bonus point because the way my car was running, or my truck, excuse me, there was no way I was getting to the front. I knew that. So, so when I stayed out to lead a lap, that made me not able to pit, and so I was way off sequence. And then I had to pit for fuel actually, and luckily towards the end of the race, the cautions fell to where I was kind of able to get back on sequence and then try to do the best I could with it. But definitely a strange race. The green flags early kind of put me off sequence from everybody else and made it for an interesting night, needless to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And who makes it happen for you? Who would you like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the guys for coming out tonight. This is with the Bristol race running, and this is kind of one of the lesser known tracks. We had a decent group come out. Great green flag racing. I'd like to thank my admins who helped me out and helped run the league. Michael Dool, Chris Freeman, and Jeff Barger, who weren't able to be here tonight. I'd like to thank them, and looking forward to the weeks ahead. The rest of the races will be broadcasted live. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to our Chase series, which will be coming up here in about 3 or 4 weeks. So, yeah, I'd just like to thank everybody who makes this league happen.
Yeah, that's Jacob Fife, our second place finisher, and I believe momentarily we will catch up with Andrew Fiash, tonight's winner, who was celebrating all around the track for quite a while. And I've caught up with Andrew Fiash, who led the most laps and won the race. And Andrew, it was interesting throughout the race at the various people who were making runs at the lead and trying to figure out who was good in the long run repeatedly. And overall, how would you say the race went for you leading up to that victory?
It was going a lot better on the long runs than it was on the short runs, that's for sure. I've been, we keep having some good races and getting long green flag runs in, but just like any other series, when you have everybody left near the end, and less people, people start to get less patient. If I could find my words here, um, more and more cautions come out, and then it just jumbles everybody. And last week at Pocono, I lost a win because of late cautions and pit strategy and getting caught up in a wreck. So it was good to get one back finally on a couple of short runs.
Yeah, and that's actually, I believe, your 7th win of the season, and if I saw correctly, that was your 12th start of the season, which is an absolutely incredible record. And with this being the third segment of the series leading into the chase, do you plan on running every race in the chase to go for that championship since you're in the wild card spot?
Yeah, I plan on running for the chase, trying to get the championship. I was actually the past few weeks I've been saying I'm trying to, with the drop weeks and all, trying to get myself into 10th spot, because if I get to 10th in points, I get bonus points for all those wins. If I'm the wild card, I get no bonus points. And once I got to like the 4th or 5th win, I thought, well, if I get to the 10th, then I'm gonna start the chase with the lead. So I've been going all out the past few weeks, just putting it all out there, trying to get the, you can't get up there in points without going for the wins. So just going all out.
Yeah, definitely. And we know that you are a DWC regular for the last couple of years. I know it's a little off topic compared to tonight's race, but how do you feel so far about your season in surely the most difficult series by far, and possibly sim racing? How's it looking in points right now, going through the end of the year?
Oh, it's been a bit of a roller coaster season, as that series always seems to be for me. I can't qualify for the life of me. I mean, you see a hint of that in this series a bit. I'm fast in practice, fast in the race, but I can't qualify well as far as the times go. But I don't know. In that series, man, some weeks I have a car good enough to run top 10, and I still find myself stuck in 30th. And every time I start moving up spots, something happens, and it's very hit and miss, and mostly miss. I've had a few good runs up there, and I can't thank my team enough for all the help they do. Galaxy Motorsports for helping me with setups and spotting for me and all that stuff. But I don't know. I'm a little disappointed in my performance in that series, but like you said, it is the top level, so you can't expect to be as good there as you may be in a random group of people.
Yeah, but I tell you, a very impressive showing tonight. A great win. Brad Patton looks great, and certainly there's actually a couple of other DWC drivers that I've seen run this. Cody Kussner is always at the top of the pack in these truck races. And aside from the people you just mentioned, who makes it happen for you? Who would you like to thank?
Really, right now, that's about it. It's just the Galaxy Motorsports guys with setups, and now this series obviously is fixed setups, which is part of the reason that I run in it, is because I don't have to stress about making something, and how much time should I put in, and I just show up, practice a little bit, and race, and it's fun. So I just want to thank these guys for putting this on, Integriy Racing League, and you guys for broadcasting.
And that's Andrew Fayash, tonight's winner here at the Milwaukee Mile. Integriy Racing, presented by Butt Kicker. It was a good show to watch. A lot of green flag racing strategies coming into play. Some people coming on very late in the going with 4 tires. The 2-tire call was the call to keep you out front, and certainly beneficial to stay out of trouble right at the end. So a good race for the folks at Integriy Racing here tonight. Slightly abbreviated field with the Bristol Cup race going on, but a good race nonetheless. And I think that about caps tonight's broadcast from Milwaukee. And we should be back with Integriy Racing soon. In fact, looking at the schedule, I'm not sure if it's next week. I do believe it is next week. And broadcast team should be full, a little bit shorthanded tonight, but we'll get that figured out. And I'd like to thank everyone for watching, whether it's live or on the replay. And from Milwaukee, this is Harrison Wilets saying see you next time.